Bio is actually really important.
Yes. Carousel posts or static photos are not going to bring in new followers. Connect with that person way more than a grid post. Do not need to always hop on the trends. Connection with your audience is more important.
Channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Desiree, mom of 3, and the owner and maker behind The Handmade Mom. All right, also this week we are doing another craft and chat, and I am so excited about this one because we are chatting about Instagram. I know as a small business owner, like Instagram can be really scary and daunting because there's so much, and people are always telling you like, do this, post that, and it can be really overwhelming. But we have a very special friend here today who is going to chat through all of that with us. If you did not see our first craft and chat, you're going to want to head back to that one, which I will leave linked here for you guys. Rethlin from Rethlin Photography, she taught us how to get really great photos for our products and branding. So once you guys have watched that video with Rethlin, then be sure to come back to this one because then you can take those photos and implement them into our Instagram posts and stories and reels and all the things that we're going to be talking about today. So I want to introduce you guys to Erin from 5 to 9 Socials. She is so sweet. We've connected on Instagram. This is actually the first time that we are meeting in person, and I'm really excited about this conversation because there's a lot to talk about. But first, I will let Erin introduce herself, 5 to 9 Socials, and kind of what you do with that.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am the owner and founder of 5 to 9 Socials. I'm an Instagram manager and coach supporting female entrepreneurs to show up on Instagram strategically and authentically.
I love it. I absolutely love your content. I've learned so much from your content already that I applied to my personal small business account, and I'm like, I really need to sit down and chat with you. So here we are. We're doing it.
So excited.
Okay, so for today's craft and chat, we are going to be crafting some friendship bracelets. I'm so excited about this. We have a whole hodgepodge of stuff here to make friendship bracelets. I have some really cute little kits here from Sophia Ramsey, and I will leave that information linked down in the description for you guys if you are interested in checking that out. Otherwise, the rest of the stuff is kind of like a hodgepodge thrown together from craft stores that sell jewelry making supplies. So that is what we have here. We're going to start with that first, and then we will get into the chat on Instagram.
Saw your silhouette in the backlight. Swear we could have met in a past life. Dreaming every night like the last time. So I end all my days with you. Yeah, we should share a backseat in a taxi to get home. No need for either of us at this point to sleep alone. 'Cause I don't like
All right, so we have been crafting away and chatting away that we had to. All right, we're going to record our questions now. So let's get chatting about Instagram.
Let's do it.
So we're going to start with the bio. I didn't know this until like, I don't know, maybe like a year ago, that the bio is actually really important.
Yes.
I just kind of threw information, whatever. I was like, oh, this sounds good.
You're not alone, don't worry.
I just kind of threw it in there. So what do we need to include in the bio? Do we use emojis? Do we not? Is there certain words that we should put in there? Like, what goes in the bio?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like you said, the bio is incredibly important because you're wanting to put your ideal client front and center here. This is not a place, ironically, I know, it's not a place where you want to talk a lot about yourself or, you know, different adjectives about yourself. You want to put your ideal client front and center. And in my Instagram roadmap that I think Des will put in the links below, we'll give you a step-by-step instruction on everything to put in your bio for better reach and engagement. But my main formula, and again, Instagram's not a one-size-fits-all, so you can mix and match this, but to get started, I always recommend saying in your bio, for a specific client wanting goal of service. And so for me, I switched my bio around a little bit, so I'm not sure by the time this comes out if it'll be the same. But I say for ambitious female entrepreneurs wanting to show up on Instagram authentically and strategically. And so I was able to add a few words here and there, but that's like my overall formula, because you want someone to go onto your profile and go, oh my gosh, this girl is for me. She has what I need.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, just really important putting your ideal client front and center.
What about like product-based businesses? Like, is that formula still applied to like product-based businesses as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is so important for product-based businesses too, because people don't just buy your products because they're beautiful. That's a large portion of it, but they want to feel something when they buy it. And when you are putting their emotions first and saying, hey, when you buy this thing, this is how you're going to feel, that is so much more powerful than just saying, oh, you know, my new headband or my new necklace is out now. When you're really specific, then you're going to get those ideal clients. And that's, you know, we don't want the bio to be for every Brad and Chad, you know. We want it to be very specific to who we want to target.
So now we've gotten past the bio, right? Now we've got all these pretty pictures, reels, things like that, right? But like, how often should we be posting? Because that's a huge one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've kind of figured out my groove now, but it's something I definitely struggle with, and I know that a lot of small businesses, when they're starting out, struggle with that as well. Like, should we be posting every day? Should we be posting twice a day, 3 times a day, once a week? Like, what does that look like? Is there a specific formula for that?
That's such a good question, and that is a question I get all the time. And how I answer it is there's no right answer to this. You can post once a week or you can post 7 days a week. Really, it depends more on your capacity, right? And so what I tell my clients during coaching sessions is if you're setting a goal for yourself to post 5 or 7 times a week, but you know that's not sustainable, that you're going to get burned out, ghost your followers for a month because you can't handle it anymore, then we need to scale it back. And so I think even just 1 post a week is totally fine if that is within your capacity.
Yeah.
If you can make a really good reel, a caption that's going to resonate, and be able to be online about 30 minutes after the post to make sure that you're responding to comments. Another tip on your story post to have a poll or a question box that relates to the post. And so making sure that you are answering those about 30 minutes after the post goes out. All of that really helps your engagement. I'm kind of going off topic, but that will help you understand how many times you should post. So how many days a week are you able to sit on Instagram and interact with your audience and make sure you're responding to question boxes and comments and things like that, and then kind of go from there. If you can only manage just 1 to 2 posts per week, I say go for it. As long as those posts are the best that they can be, that is so much more important than, you know, posting 7 days a week and the posts are not very good.
Yeah. One of the things that I also think for this point to kind of chat about a little bit is like, you don't have to compare yourself to other small businesses, because I know that was the thing for me is I would see other people posting on a day that I was not scheduled to post, and I'd be like, I'm missing out. And so that's really, really important to remember too, is like, you don't have to post just because you see somebody else posting. Because you don't know what their schedule is like. You don't know what their life is like, right? Maybe they have more free time than you do. Or maybe they have somebody else managing it for them, like yourself, you know? So like, you don't know those things. And so to compare yourself and be down on yourself because you didn't post and they did.
You're so right.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So.
And also, when you have a schedule, you go, okay, I know I'm posting Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if someone else is posting on Wednesdays and Fridays, you can be like, okay, I've got my schedule and they've got theirs, and that's just what works for me.
Exactly.
So, such a great point.
Now we know when to post. Now the next big question is, what the heck do we post? There's so many different things for Instagram: Reels, carousels. You can do single photos, multiple photos, like stories, all the things. Right? So like, what should we be posting in terms of like those things? But then also when it comes to, I know Reels, I don't know about like photos or things like that, but like Reels, there's trending audios, there's trending videos that you do.
Right.
Should we be posting those trending things?
Such a great question. I love this. So again, it's not a one size fits all, and it really depends on your strategy and your goals for your Instagram and for your business in general. This is the kind of just general layout of the different posts. So carousel posts, which are multiple graphics or photos within one post, so you can do a lot of swiping. This is where you want to nurture your audience. 9 times out of 10, carousel posts or static photos are not going to bring in new followers, because it's not going to show up on their Explore page normally, or it won't show up in the Reels tab, of course, because it's not real. Carousel posts and static graphics, you want to incorporate a lot of storytelling and nurture your audience. So that is bringing them through a story, whether that's a client testimonial, whether that's a story about you, or whether that's just saying, hey, here's what you're going to feel like after you buy this product, or after you go through this coaching experience with me. I like to do Reels a little bit more for that reach aspect. But with carousel posts, the goal is always, okay, I'm nurturing my current audience, because the goal isn't always to get new followers. I want to enrich the community that I have right now. Before we dive into Reels, I do want to talk about story posts, because so let's say you only have the capacity to show up once a week on Instagram, like we were talking about. Story posts are so important, and they are huge lead generators. And the reason is because we're scrolling through stories, oftentimes to just get to know someone. And when you're showing your face, and when you are, showing the activities that you like to do, you connect with that person way more than a grid post, right?
Right.
And so if you're feeling right now like, hey, I just can't post right now, I cannot go over one post a week, that's totally fine. Just try and show up on stories at least once a day, whether that's just saying, hey, here's what I have going on this week, or I'm spending some intentional time making bracelets with a good friend. And then for Reels,
that's the fun one.
I know. I love Reels, and I would say I quote unquote specialize in that for my Instagram management clients. But this is where you're going to get the most follows and the most reach, again, because it's on the Reels tab on Instagram, and that's just kind of what people are scrolling these days. And so when they see a relatable reel, they're going to follow you. For me, I like to keep it about, I would say 80% Reels and 20% static graphics or carousel posts, just to make sure I'm always getting that extra reach and follows too. Now with Reels comes the question of, okay, should I just be using the trends that are usually coming from TikTok or trending audio? And my answer to that is, you do not need to always hop on the trends.
That's good.
Yes, I say go for it if it really relates to your niche and it feels right to you. But if it's a trend that you just don't like, you think is annoying, or just doesn't connect to your brand values, just skip it. I mean, my audience appreciates when I create reels that have nothing to do with the trend, but I'm talking face to face with the camera, or doing a voiceover, or just doing something different. But there's definitely room for trends. I just say try and be as uniquely you as possible, because that is what's going to attract your clients.
I love that. I love that. It makes me feel a lot better too. I also tend to lean more into the reels. I just find them a little bit more fun to do.
For sure.
For some reason, photos are hard for me to post about. So I'm like, what do I do with this? Anyways, I know I tend to get sucked into the trending audio. I don't do the dancing ones. That's
That's good that you know that about yourself.
I don't do those ones. Yeah, I do get stuck into the trending audios and what are other people doing and all that stuff. But I don't need to do that. And same thing with you guys. You don't have to stick with that. You are given permission right here from an Instagram coach herself that you don't have to do the trending audios all of the time. You do whatever feels comfortable to you.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. And I think people are just going to resonate with that so much if they can they'll just be able to feel your personality. And it won't be like, okay, I recorded 15 trending reels and I'm going to disperse it out for the next month. Your audience will feel that if it's not something that you want to do. I
know one of the things that we see posted is B-roll. This is another one that I just sort of recently learned about, probably a year and a half-ish ago. I didn't know what B-roll was. I didn't even realize I was watching B-roll. And then I've learned about it and it's oh, I can use this content. But what took me the hardest time was to figure out how to get the B-roll, what to record for B-roll. So can you tell us what is B-roll? And then do you have maybe 3 tips on what to capture, how to get it, all those things?
Yeah, absolutely. So B-roll is a little bit hard to explain, but what I generally say it's that kind of behind the scenes feel. It's the behind the scenes of your life. So that is videos of you making your products, or typing on your computer, or talking with a friend. Really, it's just kind of that sneak peek into your life. And I think it's become so popular, especially after COVID, when we just really, really wanted that authentic connection and really diving into someone's life online rather than it just being so curated. And so in general, B-roll is just kind of that behind the scenes. And my tips for getting B-roll, the number one is just record everything you do.
Yeah.
Just to start off with. So let's say you're going to say, okay, on Wednesday, I'm going to record my entire day. So you're going to record making your bed, washing your face, logging onto your computer, making breakfast. I want you to think about your day and write it down, and all of those that can be used for B-roll. Obviously not going to the bathroom or anything like that, but
yes, please don't do that.
Yes. I would say that's my biggest tip. Number 2 is to just hit record, which kind of relates to number 1. Just hit record. Even if you don't use that footage, at least you are practicing.
Yes.
And you're practicing getting on camera, because I think that's the hardest part for people, is just saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to record myself no matter what I look like right now, and I'm just going to do it.
Yep. That was a big thing for me, that I was I don't, it just felt weird. I was no. Then I just started doing it, and it gets a lot easier as you go. So yeah, I love that one.
Absolutely. And then I would say my third tip is, when possible, get some up-close detail shots of what you're doing. Set up your tripod on your desk and get a close-up of your hands typing, get a close-up of you creating your products. That way you'll have a full library full of those more close-up intimate shots that you can integrate within Reels, in your story posts, anything like that. And then I also have a packet called Busy with B-roll, and that is a one-stop shop guide with 20 plus ideas for you to use your B-roll, both for product-based businesses and service-based businesses. So if you're just I don't know where to start, make sure to check that out below.
Yep, we'll leave it down below. My next question is how do we get this footage, content, and how do we edit, tools-wise? Do we need some fancy camera? Do we need some big, bulky tripod? what apps do we use for editing? Like, do you have tool recommendations for capturing the content and editing it?
Yeah. So even as an Instagram manager, and I go to my clients' places of business and get content, honestly, first step, you need a phone, right? Unless you want the reels to be very high quality, get a nice camera, but I record everything with my phone. Just to start off with, something simple for a tripod. I like to start off with either like a handheld tripod where you can hold your phone with it, and then it has the legs that go out so you can just sit it on the table, and then get one that's a little bit taller. That'll be really helpful for B-roll if it is taller, because then you can set your tripod up when you're making the bed or responding to client emails or something like that. You just have more leeway if you can make it shorter and longer. So that is just the two places to start. And then with editing it, you can keep this super simple as well. I actually edit a lot on the Instagram app. That's because kind of what I really like to do is use B-roll to help my audience just get a sneak peek into my life. And then I'll tell a story, usually with text on top of the B-roll, either explaining Instagram tip, a client testimonial, something like that, but in a much more engaging way that puts my ideal client front and center. Like, POV, are you sick of checking your phone during dinner? Well, now you don't have to do that because you have an Instagram manager, right?
Right.
So instead of just saying, hire me, it has that storytelling element. And so that's my favorite way to use B-roll. Get it on Instagram, put an audio over it, and use Instagram's fonts. I'm not overly concerned about this. It has been said that Instagram fonts, when you use the tools within Instagram, whether that's the audio, whether that's the font, just helps boost you because it's native to Instagram.
That makes sense.
Granted, I have had Reels do super well, and I edit it on another app called CapCut.
Oh yeah, I just learned about that one. That one's been really good.
Yes, CapCut is amazing, and I'm not even using it to its full potential. So I'm going to be in the process this next month of really digging in and learning more how to edit. But this is great for if you have a video of you talking straight to the camera. It's got a great on-screen caption converter tool, so when you're talking, the words will show up on the screen really easily. You can remove filler words like ums, and it'll do all of that for you. And then the pro version as well, you can edit the lighting and the sound. So if you want to make it a little quieter, you can do that as well. And then CapCut has a lot of sounds that are going to be okay to use for both TikTok and Instagram as well. If you want to go a little bit more advanced, then I would say go into CapCut.
Yeah. I just got the mobile app for CapCut recently, and I've been liking it so far. I haven't used it too much, but I've been liking it so far. But I didn't know all the features of the Pro.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. That's really good to know. I might have to upgrade.
It's really nice. I'm also just the kind of person that, like, if I'm in the zone, I do not want something to say to me like, oh, you can't use this feature because you need to upgrade.
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely not. I don't have time for this. I'm paying for it. And so it's like $20 a month. And so that's pretty expensive. So I need to do my due diligence and making sure that I'm using it to its full potential.
Right.
So maybe we can learn together.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of really great tips and information on like the actual post, the actual content that we are putting out on our Instagram, right? But what should we be focusing on for that content? Like, I know there was a time period where Instagram like was just all pretty aesthetic and like it had to have, this clean vibe or whatever, right? Like, is that still something that we should be focusing on? Or is it about like building connections with our audience? Or, as a business, right? Like, we are trying to sell our products or services, things like that. Like, so should we be focusing on that? Like, what's important to focus on our Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would definitely say connection is number one. And I will say I do like a nice aesthetic grid just for myself and for my clients because I do think it's a little bit easier on the eye. And that's not to say that you need to like go ahead and hire a graphic designer and make it gorgeous. I just say for reels and carousel posts, anything that with text in it, just try and keep it the same font and the same color. that is super easy for the eyes to see, especially with I have ADHD, and so if I go onto a grid that has a ton of text on it and it's all different fonts, like my brain kind of goes a little crazy.
Yeah.
So that's like my caveat there, because connection is number one, but also staying true to your brand and using those brand colors, using just 1 or 2 Instagram fonts, and then using your brand fonts as well on graphics and things like that. But really, connection with your audience is more important. And utilizing storytelling, like I was saying, putting your ideal client front and center, putting them in the story and not always just saying me, I, right? And also by building connection, you want to show your face. I know that a lot of people out there in the digital marketing world will say, oh, you don't need to show your face. But if you want to grow faster and have a more authentic connection with your audience, you have to show your face. You don't have to do it every day.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to pop on your stories and show your face as well. And additionally, that is answering comments, right? Answering those question boxes on your stories and just being a human on Instagram, right? Yeah. Not just being a business and wanting to always sell your products or your services. That is making connections, reaching out to people just to say hi, like no cold DMs here, right? And focus on making a community before you try and make the sale.
Yeah, and I do have to say, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I remember like the first time that we were like really connected on Instagram, and I don't know, for me, you had commented on one of my things, and you said that you really liked my content, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and so from then on, I was like, okay, I like this girl, like and so now we're here at this point, and like,
so you can get real life friends.
Exactly. So I think that that's a really good proof of like just being kind, just being authentic, just being genuine, and creating those connections with people. Yeah. Like you weren't selling me anything, right? Like you literally just gave me a compliment on my content, and that was it. And I was like, I like this girl. Like, so I think that really shows that like creating those connections can lead to so much more, could lead to collaborations, could lead to sales, could lead to so many different things, right? Yeah. That you don't have to just focus on selling or making it look pretty, right? Like just being true and authentic to yourself and your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and once you do that, people just naturally gravitate towards you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do also really appreciate that you said that although we do want it to be, like a pretty feed,
right?
As much as we can, right? It doesn't have to be, and you can keep it as simple as colors and a couple of fonts, and like that is aesthetic enough that it'll work. Because I think a lot of us think about, oh, we have to have our aesthetic feed, and it's like we have to have these pretty made up graphics and all these like picture perfect things, like, but that's not the case.
No, and I think people are really bored of that, to be honest, especially like just like the clean aesthetic, which is great if that's like your business style, but if that's not your personality, don't try and conform just because it's what other people told you to do. And
exactly.
I mean, someone would probably go on my grid and go, okay, Erin, it's kind of a mess, but it's just because my colors are so loud.
Yeah.
Right? And so maybe...
I love your colors.
Oh, thank you.
Like, no, they're not loud.
So my grid, has all my brand fonts and all of my colors. And so that's what's important to me, but I wouldn't say it's like the cleanest... most cohesive thing anyone's ever seen, but it's good enough where you're looking at it and you go, oh yeah, this is 5 to 9. This is her colors, this is her personality.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Erin, for coming and chatting with me and crafting with me. It was so much fun making these bracelets. We're almost done with these ones that
we got a few beads left for sure.
But I really, really appreciate it, and you were so helpful, so insightful. If you guys want to work with Erin, she does lots of amazing things for small business Instagram, then where can they connect with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at 5 to 9 socials. It's 5 and 9 the numbers, and 2 is just TO. So 5 to 9 socials. You can go on my website to learn more about my services at 5to9socials.com.
Awesome. And I will leave all of that information linked down below so you guys can just head on down there, click it, and get connected with her right away. All right, so that is it for this week's craft and chat video. Thank you again so much, Erin, for coming on and chatting with me. If you guys enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out me and my channel so much. Also, let us know which tip did you find the most helpful, or which one were you like, oh, I'm surprised by that. Let us know down in the comments. If you guys are interested in seeing any more crafting chats, I do have some more really fun ones in the works. I also have lots of market vlogs coming up that you guys are not going to want to miss. So be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so that way you don't miss whenever I upload those videos. All right, guys, we will see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to say a big thank you to Flower and Flower for allowing us to use their beautiful space for this crafting chat. This is a local coffee shop in my area, and the coffee is delicious, and their banana bread is so good. But thank you again so much to Flower and Flower for allowing us to craft and chat in your space.